guess. Alright, we live. HD, baby. We back into the next millennium right here. You know, Christmas came, so the webcam's here. No more excuses. I still need a battery charge. But keeping everybody updated. Christmas was great. Merry Christmas to all of those people I didn't get a chance to say Merry Christmas to. I apologize to that. And Happy New Year's in case I forget that too. And that girl at the bar who I said I was going to give you a ride home, and I did not. I'm totally forgotten about it. I hope you got home safely. And hope you're okay. And Merry Christmas to you too. Now, back to the boxing. Okay, Jermaine Taylor is getting ready to fight his comeback fight this week with Andre Dirrell on the undercard. They might be getting ready to match those two up. I don't really pretty much show any much interest into it. But Jermaine Taylor is going back to 160 pounds, which would be, I think, beneficial to him because he was actually decent when he was using his jab. Actually, he was the one that really dominated Carl Froch before he lost the fight. And he lost to Arthur Abram when he really looked good in certain spots. But he's really a 160 guy, and he was coming into camp a little too big, and he was taking a lot of heavy shots towards the end of fights where he didn't really need to take. He's very athletic, so that gives him a great opportunity to make some noise there. Now, the question is, and what that remains is there any money at 160 pounds for him? And at this point in his career, it's very hard to say. It's not really too much big money there. Sergio Martinez fight is there for him, but Sergio Martinez is not really a big draw yet. You know, he's getting there. It's some intriguing fights for boxing fans, but not pretty much profitable to where Jermaine Taylor and probably Golden Boy Promotions or somebody like that would like it to be. So down the road, I don't know, maybe a Felix Stern fight, a Macklin fight, or some big fight has to be there for him, you know, to draw interest. I wouldn't be surprised if Winky Wright came back at 160 and they put him in the ring with Jermaine Taylor for the rematch. That would be intriguing. But at this point, it's a big question mark. Andre Dirrell, 168. Here's an even bigger question mark, because a lot of people, not myself, gave him a lot of credit for taking the hit from Arthur Abram. Abram was considered the dirty fighter, and Dirrell was on his way to winning a fight. Okay, let's put that fight to the side. Let's say that's over. What happens after that? He's supposed to fight Andre Ward. He pulls out of the fight because first, okay, I'm skipping steps. First, they tried to say, we need more money for this fight. This fight is too big. Andre Dirrell, no one even knew who he really was, even after that fight. So how was the fight too big against him and Andre Ward? Those two did not want to fight each other at the time because they didn't want to ruin each other's record or whatever. So, with that being said, they go ahead and come out with some type of injury to Andre Dirrell to get out of the fight because the president at that time, who's now the president of HBO, Ken Ersman, said, well, if they do that, I'll sue them because if they didn't read their contracts in the Super 6, you can't just go out to say I'm not going to fight and then fight somebody else and just drop out of the Super 6. You got to have a reason to get out of the Super 6. And so they found one. Then, just like that, it got contagious. Kessler's like, oh, well, I got a problem. I got to get out. Because they knew that all this was going to do was mess their records up and ruining their chances to getting bigger fights. But here's the thing. Don't step in the Super 6 if you're not a Super 6. Okay? If you just a mediocre guy who's trying to make some money and you know you're not as good as the rest, don't get in it. That's the way I see it. And what's next? Because Andre Dirrell's coming back is going to be it's on the undercard of the Jermaine Taylor thing. We try to keep it as small as possible. I just don't deal with that guy because I don't believe in those type of politics. People putting their life and limb on the line, and here's a guy that's saying, hey, I don't have to put life and limb on the line. All I got to do is show up, you know, and just pull out and say I got brain injuries as the reason. Because if you got brain injuries, that's that severe to saying that you're threatening retirement, okay, that's real health concerning. And you need to be out of the sport. Because what happens is when you make all those type of decisions and you get in the ring with somebody else, you can get seriously hurt. So for the fighters who are mentally suffer that type of damage, they would love to get back in the ring and can't. You know, this is kind of a disgrace for them to see somebody say, oh my gosh, I had these type of injuries and I can't continue and I couldn't fight, but here I am 2 years later or a year later trying to get back in the ring and fight. You know, and it almost seems like it was just a farce to get out of the Andre Ward fight. So that's why I really don't like Andre Dirrell for that fact. Because one, you know, you guys pulled out of a fight. Both parties did not want to fight each other for the sake of money. It wasn't big enough yet. But you in the tournament, this is what it's about. This is why you signed on. Just for that fact alone, I really am not really concerned about Andre Dirrell at this time. And we move forward. People saying who's next for Manny and all of that stuff. I'm going to just say that for another video. Now I'm going to answer a couple of questions y'all guys had on here while I was gone. I gotta fix this autofocus. Okay, it's coming up. All right, here it is. The first question: if Pacquiao was to fire Alex Ariza, who would you get to train Manny Pacquiao? At this point in his career, Freddie Roach is his trainer. Alex Ariza is the strength and conditioning coach. I mean, what worse could he do for Manny? I mean, he really has. If it wasn't for Alex Ariza, we wouldn't even be talking about Manny Pacquiao right now at this level. He wouldn't have lasted, not against any of these guys. So whatever supplements he was giving him has obviously enhanced him. So if Alex isn't there to give it to him, they get somebody else to give it to him. They're going to still not take the risk and put him in with some inferior opponent that he can beat, to keep the money flow coming in, because it's all about money. So, and we just saw he just completely lost the fight and got his hand raised in a fight that he himself didn't know he won and didn't believe he won. So, that's that. Macklin versus Martinez. What do you got, Carceno? You think this is a legitimate fight for 160, or Chavez Jr. really? Well, Chavez Jr. is not the champion, really. We all know that. Macklin versus Martinez is the real fight. That's the fight that a lot of people would like to see. It's very intriguing. I mean, we just want to see Chavez Jr. in a real fight. And I don't think we've seen that yet. No matter what he looks like, it's like, dude, get in there and fight these guys. You're supposed to be the champion. You haven't fought anybody. So that's what's wrong with the sport, is building up these popcorn champions because of their names. You know, Wilfredo Vasquez Jr., he's not a real champion. You know, this guy, this kid, he's young. He's old, actually, but he's young to the game of boxing. He didn't start boxing until he was in his 20s. And you put him in there with Nonito Donaire, Nonito's going to expose a lot of his flaws. So that's how I see that going. So I went off on a whole other question that haven't been asked. No, I don't see. Okay, guys, like, do you see Floyd Mayweather is gonna do? No, Floyd's not gonna do the whole time, I don't think. I think you don't pay lawyers that kind of money that they paid to do a full 90 days. Like I said in a previous video, I was already informed that that May date may have been in trouble, and if they were talking about moving it to Canelo. Then the next day we get the sentencing. So I'm quite sure his lawyers already knew and was aware of what the punishment was gonna be from the judge, so they knew what to work around. He might do 30 days, might do 34. So by the end of the month of January, he'd be out. And then that'll be it. I mean, next week he goes in, what, 2-3 weeks, boom, he's out. So, you know, 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks. We got something else to talk about by then. By the time we get through talking about it, turn around, mate was walking out. All of that's taken care of, and then he's cleared for a fight or anything else that he's got going on. So that's it for now. But I don't want to make this video too long. Just want to let you know we back. NHD Boxing Social.